Every couple of months, I do something that I call Mod Day, which is me just sharing some gratitude with the people that volunteer to work with me and help me make my stream and show and YouTube channel work. From keeping the pie to maintaining order in chat to telling people, repetitively, whether in the live show or on YouTube, how to get a song on the pie. These people work relentlessly with me. And believe it or not, they do it at my pace with a ton of grace because I am not an easy person to communicate with. And it's a struggle I know of myself, but this is my life. Now, tonight, we are honoring my homie and incidentally the channel editor. If you're watching a video of mine on YouTube, it's because it went through Crimson Raider's digital fingers first. He's suggested I listen to Bleed, the album by the band Wednesday. Now, I don't know if Wednesday is a band or an artist, so this is what we got. Now, this reminds me of like Where the Wild Things Are, but if it was in like a decrepit suburban home. I don't know. That's just where the album artwork is kind of bringing me to. Like a child Where the Wild Things Are sort of thing. Wednesday is a band. You're beautiful for doing that. Thank you for telling me. Guys, you got to let me know. This is a music discovery stream. Have you heard this album and artist, or are you raw dogging a very first listen with me? Now, I will say, Crimson Raider is one of my closest friends, and the dude has a pretty good idea of what my taste is going to be, and also how to challenge my taste. He and I know where our tastes differ, and I think the beautiful part about collaboration is that he has to listen to all of the music that I like that he doesn't. So, I think sometimes he likes to challenge me and at least make me see if I'm going to like something that's probably going to be a rub. I don't know, though. He also knows I like to just have a good time listening to music. So I really don't think he's going to challenge me to the point that I won't like it. So, guys, yeah. With all of that said, give me one final batch of W's for Crimson Raider, my guy. I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. These people over here are the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I know I speak for all of us when I say, bless you! We would love to have you by. Yeah, the acronym didn't work that way anymore. And Uncle Bert, Babe, you sneezed like 5 times. Shut up. I'm streaming. Sorry, rude. Anyways, Uncle Bert, do you have that saved on a sticky note? And that's why it says Walt acronym : and then the rest of it? I needed to, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I thought so. Pasted the whole thing. My bad. Dude, I don't think you could have complimented me more. That little slip up, beautiful. She really is a Renaissance woman. I don't know what that was in reference to, but if you two are talking, that's a really good thing. Guys, here we go. Without further ado, and now that my wife is finally shut up from her sneezing because of blessings, Wednesday, the album Bleeds. The album is called Bleeds. Gosh! Reality TV argument Bleeds. Here we go. Mel is so blessed. No, for sure. In fairness, though. Okay, Crimson, hang on. We are opening up with an over 30-second build-up. Is it over 40? Is it over 40? Oh, we're going to do it again. You know, there's moments in life, one of them being when you're on a roller coaster and you're just, slowly ascending, just. That is what just happened here. I loved that. This was fantastic, dude. Do we have any Ken dolls in the chat after that one? I can't do that because I'd have to do it for another 30 seconds.
Taking the ticks off of you. If you need me, I'll call you. In wino shoes, he drags his feet, and I crawl toward you unkillably. Reality TV argument.
This mega chonky bass line in the middle of it does something I really, really, really appreciate about a lot of indie rock, in that, a lot of times it is bass driven in the verses, and then you get these really big explosive moments with maybe multiple guitars or big ambient fills. I really appreciate that. I think you see that happen a lot with like early Weezer, for example. You see that happen, maybe Pixies also, at least in the album I've got under my belt. Yo, Judo, dude, thank you. 11 months, you beauty. And Crimson, yeah, it's somehow not a surprise to me that you submitted a female forward or female fronted band. I'd have to go back and look at your request history, but I've got to like Wolf Alice, Big Thief, man, I can't even think of the other one I'm trying to think of, but it's like right there on the T of my T. What is it? What was it? It was the 3 power indie rock. Boy Genius, Bingo Bango, thank you. Yeah, no, you're consistent, my guy. You're consistent.
Bleeds through the floor when I go to sleep. Walk over the wet boards of a wooden bridge when I don't feel like being comforted. Melting outward like a movie burning from the screen. You and your broke Dixon sincerity to bar like this.
Can we just all comment and admire that she said you and your broke dick sincerity? She called it broke dick sincerity. What lyricism? Like, what lyrics? I guess is actually the more appropriate way to say this. That is such a powerhouse line. Babe, I think you should start telling people they have broke dick sincerity. If they do. Only if they do, though. Oh, you want some sauce yourself? Yeah, I got you.
Don't feel like being comforted.
hook, line, and sinker from the first song. That opener, that just huge, mega drop. And then you get that do 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 do, like really cool stuff, man. I don't know any of these. MJ, Lenderman, Carly, Hartzman, and Zandy Shelmus. I'm not sure who any of those folks are. Are any of them in bands that I am familiar with? Or would I have recognized their work elsewhere? Besides that, though, this came out September 19th of 2025. Wow! So this is a super new one. How many albums do they have? So they've been doing stuff since what, 2020? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7. This is 7, maybe. MJ solo is bigger than the band, I feel. I'm not familiar with either of them, so to me, it's all discovery. Man, that was a good first impression. First timers, first listeners, how are you feeling about this?
Catching up with the Townies, some have gone, but most are still around. The ghosts, them surround me, hang on tight until they drown. Met you in the neighborhood, you had connects to get us high.
That's definitely a lap steel guitar I'm hearing. You hear those swells. Unless they're doing just regular volume swells with like one of these bad boys in a guitar. But it does have this kind of like country vibe to it.
And then you sent the new.
In sound texture, it's certainly indie rock. Kind of does remind me a little bit of Big Thief, like in some parts. Maybe more specifically Adrian.
Around, I never yelled at you about it, 'cause you
You sent my nudes around, and I never yelled at you about it because you died. That's what the lyrics say. Yeah. Met you in the neighborhood. You had connects to get us high, and then you sent my nudes around, and I never yelled at you about it because you died. So, like, you're the guy that had the weed plug sent your nudes to people, and then you didn't get a chance to yell at him because he died, but your nudes are still out there. Weezer Cranberries? Man, honestly, how about Wednesday, huh?
party in county stoking bonfires with leaf blowers. You got you in the back of his car, just your sneakers and your drawers. Group of girls went around telling everywhere you fooled around and gave you a strong reputation for being someone always down.
I'm literally from a town that I-40 goes right through, okay? Like, well, I guess not. Maybe 81 does. I have to take 81 to I-40. But, like, I-40 is very much part of my upbringing. You know what I mean? Like, learning to drive. I remember you saying that. I kind of, do you know where in North Carolina? They're from Asheville, so they're from like an hour away from where I'm from. I literally might have run into these folks shopping or like getting some chocolate at the chocolate fetish or like being one of the many Kingsport hipsters, like all 8 of us that drove to Asheville to shop at the Urban Outfitters because that's what we had. You know? Like, real times. I might have seen him in my tour of the Moog factory, you know, like that's so cool to me. Like, I spent so much time in Asheville. Bro.
Crawled into your life, begging on my knees, and I get it now. You were 16 and bored and drunk, and they're just townies.
Wow.
I catch up when I'm up when I'm up.
A townie is somebody who's just from the town. So as a non-American Crimson, if like you have tourists and you have townies. So a tourist is clearly a person that is not from the town. Then you have people that are from the town. When I went to Asheville, I was not a townie. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's colloquial with enough context that you should have guessed it, no doubt. But I don't mind to explain it either, man. I'm not going to judge you. I'm happy. Yeah, I will absolutely say that this does speak into a very specific part of small town life. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because when Mel and I had the very great pleasure of officiating my best friend's wedding in Tennessee this past November, and we got to go and just kind of seeing the town, remembering from whence I came, and running into people, and like literally it was just like you catch up and you kind of get in and get out. Like, I love those people, they're great. But it's like it doesn't really have a whole lot, and that place really only has my past. Like, it's certainly relevant to me, but it's like only as relevant as I choose to allow the past be to me. And I kind of like it that, the end of this kind of resolves, because like I can imagine having your nude sent out would be a traumatizing thing, and then like being pissed because you can't yell at them because they died. Like, that does feel like a little robbed justice or closure. And then what do you do, right? The damage is done. But then the kind of retrospective on it that wraps the song up with, I get it now. You were 16 and bored and drunk, and they're just townies that I catch up with when I go back to town. It's not a big deal anymore. I recognize the insignificance of the time. It's kind of I really love the way that she approaches that. I'm really impressed with this. I got nothing else to say about it. I so far this is a fantastic impression.
Scratch our ticket for the education lottery. Found him drowned in a creek. Face was puffy. They hung his dirty jersey up in a trophy case next to his girlfriend in a picture with a varsity face. Around up here, ballooned on. Your face was spear gathers like a moth. Wound up here, ballooned on. Around up here, ballooned on.
I love that line. I wound up here by holding on. And lest we forget, we didn't come this far just to come this far. So if you are one of the people that is watching that might need to hear it, keep holding on. Brig, do it for me. If you can't bring yourself to do it for you, but do it. Keep holding on. Find a reason.
Started the highway, then ran out of money. So we made up at the on-ramp, drink 2020. We'd screw into the springs of the trampoline. You saw a pit bull puppy pissing off a balcony. I wound up here, but holding on. I wound up here, but holding on. Wound up here, but holding on. I wound up here, but holding on.
Oh, make the guitar work. It's interesting, but to me, it kind of has sonic similarities to like moments of Smashing Pumpkins music. And maybe it's easy for me to say because I did Siamese Dream not too long ago, but it also has moments that remind me of like Big Thief. And yeah, topped the whole thing off with I wound up here by holding on. And it kind of feels like some of the stuff she says within it is like she's exploring the good and the bad sides of that. Like, you know, I wound up in this bad spot by holding on. Also, I wound up where I'm at in life, as in continued existence by holding on. I love the wordplay.
Read your name at the wake, snack from a vending machine, like a smack on the ass at the back of a dream. Mounted antlers in the kitchen on a crooked nail. Other killers keep teeth, keep the fingernails. I wound up here by holding on. You reappear before I noticed you were gone. Wound up here by holding on. I wound up here by holding
I really, really, really like this. Yeah, I hear a lot of Pavement fronted by Adrian Lanker in Wednesday. I could agree with that. I certainly don't deny it. I think that you it's a little bit sometimes less chaotic and messy than Pavement. Well, actually, you know what? No, maybe, dude. Based on the two albums from Pavement I've got in my bag right now, maybe you're not far off.
Sweet song is a long con. I drove you to the airport with the e-brake on.
Huh.
Ain't heard that voice in a long time. Had to check back there to make sure you were alive.
You want to know a little interesting subtext of my life as a Southerner? I always kind of thought that, believe it or not, most people in the South can tell when they're looking or talking to a person from a different place of the South based on their accents, right? They really are pretty regional, okay? So I always felt some sort of envy over the Carolinas because they seemed like the cool, rich beach Southerners. And the Virginias kind of felt like like Virginia was okay, but it comes with their like kind of weird stepbrother West Virginia. And so like you don't really like either of those states, like cuz one comes with the other, and golly goodness, like nobody's got time to try to figure out how many teeth are missing. Kentucky's fine, but I mean at the end of the day, like grass isn't supposed to be blue. Mississippi doesn't use enough syllables, you know, because who wants to live in Mississippi? At the end of the day, Alabama, they don't even, you know, they say roll tide because they can't spell elephant. Florida is just all sorts of things that shouldn't even be considered the South. And Georgia, I guess I got no beef with Georgia. They're cool. But all that to say, golly goodness, the South has a variety of people, and this particular display of music is a display of the cool South, at least in my opinion.
Angel hum of an electric car.
For the record, Washington, D.C. is not a part of the South. It is a part of alien territory that got dropped in the middle of the South and has its own culture entirely. The people that grow up in D.C. are basically like humanoid androids, you know, that are kind of like thoroughbreds for politics. Or children of like trade workers who are all paranoid conspiracy theorists that are going to grow up one day and say, I lived in DC my whole life, and use that as the foundation for their own conspiracy theories. So that is the very specific case of Washington, D.C.
Reverses toward me. Sometimes in my head I give up and flip the board completely. But
the reason I didn't mention Texas earlier is because A, I lived in Texas for quite a while and I have a great respect for the country of Texas. And it is the West, not the South. You can call it the Southwest, but the Southwest is not the South. The Southwest is the Southwest. Texas is just the West.
everybody gets along just fine, 'cause the champagne tastes like elderberry wine.
Love that line.
And the pink boiled eggs stay afloat in the brine, 'cause even the best champagne still tastes like elderberry wine.
Like, this woman is singing about elderberry wine and pickled eggs in a song, which is the only... Like, did you know that that's what she meant by the pink eggs? Did you know that she meant pickled hard-boiled eggs? Have you ever had a pickled hard-boiled egg? Don't do it. Don't do it.
You cry at commercials, 89 bolted legs scraping against the ground. As a tilt-a-whirl goes around.
Southern Illinois is the Midwest. Don't. Guys, get out of it. Southern Illinois wants to be the South because they're not Chicago. That's it.
Rolling up, say it's mostly CBD. Said I wanna have your baby, 'cause I freckle and you tan. I find comfort that angels don't give a damn.
This is incredible.
But everybody gets along just fine, 'cause the champagne tastes like elderberry wine. And the pink boiled eggs stay afloat in the brine.
Also, if you didn't know, I let it play for a little while because I wanted to go back, but if you didn't know this about the South, when CBD became legal, a lot of people started buying CBD containers and traveling around with a receipt of CBD purchase, and like they'd put real weed in their jars. I'm not saying I ever did that before, okay? I'm just saying that I knew a guy that would go and buy however much from a guy and then put that stuff in his CBD container and move forward. So it really is kind of hilarious that it really is Southern colloquial, because it's not legal in most of the Southern states. So if you wanted to buy, something, or you got caught with it, you could get in a lot of trouble. But if you have the ability to be like, oh, it's CBD, it looks the same, it smells the same, here's the receipt, I bought it, just down the road. Plenty of us Southerners heard that trick worked for plenty of people. So roll one up, say it's mostly CBD. That's kind of a hilarious thing. And again, the way that they comment on it feels like this is a really, really accurate depiction of the South in kind of a if you know sort of way. But it also has so many perfect like indie rock sound textures. Gives me a little bit of the Decemberists in it as well. Just when they have the more kind of folky country Americana vibe to it. I love this.
'Cause even the best champagne still tastes like elderberry wine.
In fact, I forget this, but I used to have a "It's CBD" emote from the days that I was cheebing all the time. I still have it. Oh my gosh. There is my CBD stash. I used to, it's right there. I used to have that emote for when I was puffing on screen. Hilarious. I would play Hearthstone and light up, and people would put that emote in the chat because it was CBD. Wow, what a funny story. I didn't I'm really glad that for whatever reason I never deleted that emote. Huh. What a time to be alive. So
but everybody gets along just fine, 'cause the champagne tastes like elderberry wine. And your eyes are the green of tornado sky, 'cause even the best champagne still tastes like elderberry wine.
And the elongated meter there at the end. Beautiful. That might have been my favorite one on the album, because I think it really did just hit so close to home to me. And the CBD thing, it's something I haven't thought about that in years. You know what I mean? I have not thought about the fact that I used to call it CBD so I could like have an excuse for like smoking on stream, or like if I got pulled over by cops. That's such a random memory that only pops up because of some lyrics, pulling you to a certain place in life. I really, really, really liked that. That really actually made me tremendously happy. I actually do have to pee though, so I'm gonna run an ad. Give me a few, please and thank you. Oh yeah. And we back. Let us hop back in and get it. Phish Pepsi with a PH. Phish Pepsi.
Knocking through the tennis court. Laid in the dark on the carpeted floor. Came here for a party.
You've got the voices panned left and right, and almost it feels like a little bit modulated.
In middle school, rode my bike home drunk off of a Ford logo. Last time I saw you was a live stream of a funeral. You laughed when you told a story from when we were young. Looks like you're holding up alright, but I know it's sometimes hard to tell.
I love this. Kind of does feel like it's got like the Mixolydian mode jam band element to it. I think that the chat doesn't like Phish, still likes Phish fans. Hilariously enough, I think nobody dislikes Phish more than Phish fans in some regards. But I also think, yeah, my chat likes Phish. Yeah.
I don't sleep in that room anymore. When the cicadas think up, they breathe too hard. We watched a Phish concert and Human Centipede. Two things I now wish I had never seen.
I don't know that I would be mad if I could take away the memory of seeing Human Centipede. But I'm personally offended that they wish they'd never seen a couch tour. Phish is better than Human Centipede. There's no doubt about it.
We smoked weed out of a Pepsi can, lying around under a Christmas tree.
I think it's funny that Phish Pepsi is the fact that the Pepsi can is the mechanism. It's like their marijuana smoking apparatus is the Pepsi can, thus Phish Pepsi. Hilariously, one of what's up? Did you? Hilariously enough, one of the best plays on words of the album. This song was a lot of fun. It was kind of one of those like computer. It reminded me a little bit in voices, in the voice of Adventure Time voices, I guess. The bong of a new generation. Nah, man, I think our founding fathers of smokers were using the cans before we were. Also, my first home make was a paper towel roll, and I cut a hole in the top of it to put my bowl piece in, and I had to put my hand on the back of it and basically make a carve out of the hole in the back because I broke my glass at that time. And after I made the first one, I had the money to buy more, but I just got so juiced and all like revved up on the inventor's energy that I went through a period where I just tried to make a lot of unique apparatus to smoke out of. Apparatuses, apparati, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I did what I could. Candy bread.
Broken nose piercing. Right away into good containers. Guzzled down at midnight in the fridge light. Get around finding
Fish text. Thank you for coming back, homie. Is the nose broken or the piercer? Yes.
you in a tired fire flame. Scattered like cockroaches through the dusty door. You opened up a portal into your sickle world.
I can hear Veruca Salt. See, there specifically that song. It's the one I know, so that's why I'm saying that. I do hear the shoegaze. I think I said that earlier in this. Like, it kind of reminded me of Smashing Pumpkins a little bit. Kind of. I'm definitely hearing some of those bigger guitar moments, like My Bloody Valentine, but with more defined guitar tones, less like wet ambient spaced out ones. I really like this.
Surrounded by my shame. We fight over your body, dragging to the shore. Whether or not they know it, everyone's divorced. Dragging through the
Just so you know, soft animals on the internet, we might have one of the most comically positive and encouraging, supportive, polite Discord communities in the world. Tons of conversation, like literally 24/7, because people are actually awake 24/7 because of the time zones of the world, that talk about music all day. There's always a conversation to hop into. There's always, if you want to just talk about a random thing, it's one of the very few places that you can pretty well put a link into the wild, and you can almost guarantee that there's going to be a person in the Discord that's like, oh, I haven't heard that song. Let me check that out. People like make their own wheels of discovery and spin them and talk about the journey with whatever it is they're listening to. Like, it's actually a really cool place. Yeah, apparently we have a music league. So, yeah, you guys, join the Discord. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the video description. If you're watching on the live show, !Discord.
knocking on that screen. almost good enough to know you. I oversold myself on the night we met. Not as entertaining as you might have thought I was then.
I love her work with the mirror of
And
her
I'm
lyrics.
scared to death. There's when
The use of the lap steel is also so nice.
Spoiled by your knowing, newer and much sweeter, many much more patient, with much more than I can give.
Her lyrics hit,
You
dude.
have seen me angry. I know it's not been easy, and I know it can't always be. That's the way love goes.
Even the way she kind of throws the rhyme there at the end, the way that she said, like, just kind of acknowledges simply, like, you've seen me angry and I know it hasn't been easy. And I know it can't always be easy, is effectively what she's saying. And that's the way love goes. It's almost this kind acknowledgement. But I mean, realistically, knocking on the screen door, even though I can see right through, feel like I'm almost good enough to know you. I oversold myself on the night we met, and I'm not as entertaining as you might have thought I was then. And I'm scared to death. There's women less spoiled by knowing you're newer and much sweeter, much more patient, and much more than I can give. That is, it's such an like, it's such a. What a way to love somebody, to feel like you're not enough, and to worry that one, like, there's such a insecurity in that love, but it almost rings to the point of like how beautiful it is to have something so wonderful and dear that you could potentially lose. um there is something there that is really kind of magical about it, and that fear of like, what if he realizes, or in the, in my case, like, what if she realizes that, like, I'm not as entertaining as she might have thought I was, or I get it. I get it as a person who has found love, like, and has experienced loneliness. There is this, like, almost knee-jerk reaction, like almost like deep-seated fear, thinking about the idea of being lonely again, and in my own insecurities, like in the roadblocks I create for myself. I have those moments where I'm like, geez, I am not cool. I have no idea why this woman is with me. Like, but what a gift, right? And I think I owe it to her to not burden her with those thoughts, because the only thing that is wrong is my thoughts on how somebody could love me, and not that a really terrific and wonderful person does. So if you find yourself in that position, may you give yourself the grace to overcome that insecurity and accept the love your loved one shows. This one is Pick Up That Knife. Just cruising through this album.
Crack my tooth on a car.
going from those really massive, big, boomy, explosive, mega distorted, overdriven, like atmospheric moment, like drops into just back into like pleasant singing. Did you think we'd make it? I love it.
There's the water down the broken drain. Fire in the wedding band. One day I'll kill the bitch inside my brain.
Okay, Tyler Durden.
Tulip in the pit at a death grip show. And bottle spit dip and tell dirty jokes.
So, if you don't know, dip, I feel like if you're out of the South, people think dip is chewing tobacco, but if you're in the South, you know pretty distinctly that dip and chewing tobacco are very different. Chewing tobacco is like actual shredded leaves that you're like are gonna pop in the old face and just slowly like chew and spit out. Whereas dip, you're literally just kind of getting a can. You're getting a good pack on it. You're gonna take some of your pinch out and you're just gonna give yourself a big old hog jaw that's just gonna sit there as you spit. It's gonna get all in your teeth. Yeah. And then for the more sophisticated of the gentlemen out there, or ladies, I guess tobacco use is not a sexist thing. For whoever would like to, I guess I should say, if you don't want the dip or chewing tobacco stuff in your teeth, you buy pouches or yeah, it's not awesome. I tell you, in high school we had so a lot of high school kids dipped and they shouldn't have. They would sneak it and they would like try to spit in their bottles, and some teachers would get like privy to what they were doing and they would just be like, hey, you're not supposed to have like outside water bottles. And they would take the spitter or the dipper, whatever, typically you would call it a spitter, and they would go throw it away, and then you would just see a kid sit there and get paler and paler and paler. So I saw in high school 2 different people throw up in class from the teacher making them sit there, swallow their dip spit, because the kid wasn't going to sell themselves out like that they had a dip in. But yeah, the dip spit thing, not awesome. I've also seen a comical amount of people pick up a cup that they didn't know was a spitter and drink the dip spit. Really actually happens. It really actually happens. I mean, tobacco use isn't cool at all. Dip is fine. I preferred chewing tobacco specifically just because I didn't like just leaving it there. I wanted something to do and I wanted to feel like I could maneuver. I also, it's easier for my mouth to pouch something in my cheek than in my lip. But yeah, I tell you, the people that are the most metal are doing snus there, which is like tobacco powder that you snort. Those people are metal.
At a death grip show. And bottle spit dip and tell dirty jokes. You keep on feeding that effing addiction, squeezing the bottle and burning from itching. When you pick up that knife, you're asking for a fight. Mouthed off to those bikers at a vacant stoplight. They'll meet you outside. They'll meet you outside. They'll meet you outside. They'll meet you outside. Thought you'd get shipped home in a full body cast. Never could.
It's really interesting to me in this how like perfectly the lyrics kind of capture small town life in Appalachia. Maybe a lot of small towns, but specifically small town Appalachia. Like I totally get it. And I do think the experience of like seeing teachers like throw away spitters for 15, 16-year-old kids thinking they're cool to suffer, is like one of those experiences that maybe like primarily Southern kids have, because I don't think ever since I've left the South, I haven't seen like a single person dip or chew. So I'm happy about it. I see a lot less spitters in my day to day, but it does seem like it's very specific to the South, very regional. um Kind of like sweet tea, like if you go to the South and you order tea, it's just going to come to you with sugar in it. You don't have to ask for it. It's just going to come that way. You have to order the tea unsweet. You have to literally tell them, I want unsweet tea, which sounds backwards. Like, why can't you just say tea and then they give you the tea that you can add sugar to? Because that's not how it works in the South. In the South, you drink sugar and brown. So, there are some backwards things, I'm not going to lie. But this is hitting it. And I guess a person who also left the South, yeah, this is it. Kind of get it.
Get your head out of your eyes, baptized to freedom and born in bondage. They'll bury you deep to keep the dogs from digging. They'll meet you outside. 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 They'll meet you outside.
I'm really impressed. They'll meet you outside. I have absolutely mega big feelings about this album. I feel like this is kind of the outlier of the album so far, but this feels like the song that would go the hardest in a live context. You know what I mean? Like this feels like the one when everybody has like kind of the softer, easier songs, but on the same album that we had that like really kind of delicate, small arrangement of really honest lyrics, then we get this. It's 0 to 100, and I loved every bit of that moment. And again, the contrast on the album of going from the mood swings is tremendous. I mean, dude, this has been such a fun ride. It really is nice. And this isn't even like Southern bias. This is just pure, honest, like real good stuff. Walterooskis, if you see this band in your town, you go see them and you tell me how it was. I think and I'll do it too, and we'll meet in the middle. So, song so hard, Walt's camera is shaking. Yeah, I shook my desk. 3 songs to go. This has been a tremendous impression. This has been really, 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 really good. Again, maybe it's Southern bias. I don't think it is, though.
Grocery store sushi. You're chopping ketamine with the motel room key. Like a razor on a water slide. Surgeon seeing the scalpel sewn inside. Get past the cold spot in the lake. The easy things in life keep getting harder every day. Potpourri, dead smell of a stagnant creek.
Like these guitar leads in the background that seem broken up but somehow ring through with some sort of clean-ish tone, like clean enough to punch through the mix. It's just really, really cool how they edit this. And I like, again, that they have this like really shoegaze forward sound while also still getting the instrumentation to punch through. Because a lot of times when you're playing with tones, if you make tones too wet or too really, if anything, it washes out. You can never whatsoever get things to ring through it. So that they have such expressive sounds while also maintaining such a really big atmosphere. I love that.
Ran the car into a cherry blossom tree. Rolled the tires down a muddy hill. Just keep on swimming through until you get past the cold spot in the lake. Abundant things in life keep getting fewer every day.
These guitar tones are so nice.
Stranger will sing us a sweet song on the porch. Run downtown and whoever was near would come on out. Next week we saw on a poster staple to a pole. She'd killed the guy and left the body laying by the road.
Big slowdown.
Broadway's and the ramp was 23. Swimming through. 'Cause to you it's just like swimming through a cold spot in the lake.
Her voice is both like compressed and peaking, and really cool. I like that.
And the
Texture.
sweetest parts of life keep getting bitter every day.
There's such a nice rub and raw grit to the sound of their voice, and I don't get the impression that this is all being created in a room together, but I could be wrong. It feels like it's individually. No, I don't know. Some songs give me one impression, some songs give me the other. I think to capture that big room sound, there's certainly, I don't know. Do you guys have any idea how this is recorded? I think it could go either way. I can't bring myself to decide which I think either way. 2 songs to go. Carolina Murder Sewer Slide.
We're sticking to a leather chair, the heat from the streets making waves in the air. The police talk to your husband on
It is really interesting that they can go from these really massive, big, huge sounds to then this slow down vibe.
on your neighbors burn up
What an experience to write about. This really does seem like she writes a lot of just observation.
a twirl of baton outside, and notice the look his daughter had when her dad pulled that Tacoma in the gravel drive they forced themselves inside. Found the scattered piles of a Carolina murder suicide.
Really picking it up. I feel these feedback swells.
Swing his wrapped up hands at the bag in the garage, and I'd heard him shoot bottles off the top of wooden box. Older brother ran away, took her back to a bus stop. Late at night, he was a squirrel killing boy. Picked at splinters with a pocket knife.
I'm trying to imagine if this is like a real story or if this is just an imagined one of like being in a place, like being in a neighborhood where there was a murder suicide. Because I can imagine that that would be something that would affect me pretty deeply. Like if I lived in a neighborhood and I knew something like that happened, like close by, I think energy kind of carries and you know, I think I would notice it.
House collapsed, but the fire kept on burning at the scraps, and I wondered if
It's these moments.
grief could break you in half when the gossip
Her spoken meter.
and the ruins rotted away.
was a good one. So this is the last one. Gary's 2 is what it's called.
Went for a drink at the bar down the road, watching horses and betting your clothes.
Second song about Gary.
Head out the door then to go for a smoke. Get hit on the way out and stub to your toe. Guy rounds the corner in a fisherman's hat, and he hits you in the face with a baseball bat. He took one look at you after he stopped to laugh, and he noticed he mistook you, got it on behalf of some bastard from the bar who had slept with his wife. You said, I never seen you in my God-given life. Stood up and brushed off and felt for your mouth, and your teeth leapt from you, so you spit them all out. You took up your pride and you took up the bat, and you went for that shithead to out his kneecap.
Get him. If they want a guitar player and they, if they need a pinch hitter and they're out west, let me know.
Went to the dentist and he winced at your gums, and he said that false teeth were your only option. You said, go ahead, man, just take out the rest, even the good ones are doomed, I'm tired now. The dentist took pause but said, seems fine to me, and that's how you got dentures at age 33. Told me this story as you stood by your truck. I said, Gary, man, you have the worst of all.
Dang,
I always did wonder how your teeth stayed so nice when the only thing you drink is Pepsi.
I love a band that is self-referential. You've heard me say it too many times at this point if you watched for any period of time. Good job, Crimson. Buddy, that was a good one. Was fan. Am fan. This is good. This is good. They have 5 albums. I'll listen to another one. Let's go back to the beginning. Put the very first album of theirs in the hopper, Crimson. I liked it, buddy. That was good. I don't know anything about this band I other than that they're from the South, from pretty far, pretty far from where I live now, but pretty very close to where I grew up. Liking their heavier stuff a lot, especially Wasp. The lighter songs did not click for me at all. I'm not from the South though. Could be. I don't know. I mean, the heavy stuff was awesome. I imagine that there's going to be a pretty good mix of through the rest of the catalog. So, Rat Saw God has some real highs. Okay. I was a fan of this. I'm very glad that we did this one. I've got honestly nothing but good things to say about it. And I just wanted to know who Carly was. And this is her. Is she playing a look at that. I like the guitar. This is the band, it seems. Yep, Wednesday. Yeah, they seem like they're from Asheville. Like I said, they're the cool Carolinas. Crap. Just no. Okay, just I don't want to. Okay, just just okay. Yeah, yeah. They definitely seem like they're the cool kids in the Carolinas because us Tennessee kids are definitely like. I feel like Tennessee, you heard me go on about the South a lot earlier, but I feel like Tennessee is the kid in the neighborhood that's all kind of alone on our mountaintop, looking around at everybody. And then, like, the other half of our brain is busy playing music. That's pretty much it. Anyways, guys, Yeah, we're the lonely middle child because we're in literally the middle of the entire South. But guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.